So when you see the thought, if I don't get it right, I won't be okay. It really is talking about I won't be okay with myself. Like I won't find myself acceptable. And without being aware of that judgment, it goes straight as if other people won't find you acceptable. And it seems like the threat is that they will reject you. But the truth is, it's the immediacy of your own rejection and lack of acceptance of yourself that brings that into an extreme heightened sensation of fear and sudden impact. Except, like we've talked about before, that's not what you experience. You experience the immediate lurch to people please or placate or to get it right or to be well thought of or to be a pro or efficient. But it's all coming from the absolute terror of finding yourself unacceptable. Shame, yeah. And it's very important because that seems to usually take us down a route of like talking about things like unworthiness. However, it's far more about control. It's more like the self-concept wants to maintain control over what's acceptable and what's not, which is how you define it, literally how you sculpt out like a person-shaped figure about what you control and what you don't. I'm a boy, I'm a girl. I have control over that. I don't have control over that. You know, whatever it is, I wear my hair long, I wear my hair short. I'm a punk, I'm normcore. Whatever it is, it doesn't really matter, but it is an absolute authority problem, refusal to accept myself exactly as I am. Because it's so terrifying that would be okay. That how you are would be acceptable because it falls so far short of your own, and I qualify that by saying the ego's idea of how you should be to be acceptable. And it's treated as absolute, it's considered a mutiny by the ego. If you change the conditions under which you're allowed breathe and exist, if you change the conditions under which you are found acceptable to yourself, it's considered all out mutiny and like rebellion by the ego. And yet to the spirit, that's exactly what needs to happen. You need to question the conditions under which you find yourself acceptable and bring them, you don't even try and fix them yourself, bring them to the spirit to look at them again, to look at them with innocence, to look at them with forgiveness, to find the innocence. And when you do that, then all things, everything, which is the theme at the moment, everything is acceptable. Everything is acceptable. Because these are conditions that describe the defense of believing you're not acceptable. Nothing else. There aren't anything else but conditions and defenses that you've put in place to reaffirm that you're not just simply not acceptable and therefore maintaining the ego's world. So they can have no lasting effect at all because they're just a lie. And it's the importance of bringing that lie to the spirit, like bringing it to a higher court of justice, where you hand over this massive dossier you have against yourself of all the things you failed at and all the things you shoulda, coulda, woulda done better, different in the past or hoped to do in the future if you were only given more time. And you hand that massive dossier you have against yourself up onto the judge's desk, and you wait for the gavel to land to make the declaration. But the spirit never opens that dossier on you because it's all irrelevant. Whether it's a list of good done, a list of bad done, it doesn't matter. It's always going to be the same. It's always going to be case dismissed. You don't have a case against yourself. You don't even have a case for yourself. Case dismissed because there's a higher court has made that final judgment already, and it's always going to be innocence. There isn't an option even between guilty and not guilty. It's case dismissed. That's different. Case dismissed means there isn't even something to judge between. There isn't even an option where you could be found guilty. And that's just so important in that transparency, in us coming to the Spirit, in us coming with this list of rebukes and this list of accusations we have against ourselves of why we're not acceptable. And believe you me, I see for myself, we maintain this list devotedly on a daily basis, and it has to be questioned. And that's the purification of this time. As we have been sequestered and asked to sit still, we're being asked to question this list of non-acceptance, this list of judgments, which has already been overruled. It's already been thrown out by the High Court. And yet we refuse. We keep trying to solicit new judgments daily based on our requirements. And then we get angry and frustrated and want to control more when the higher court goes, no, that case has been dismissed. Sorry, I've got nothing for you there. There's nothing actionable here. And we're frustrated because we want the world the way we want it. It's familiar that we have progress and that we improve every day and we do something better or different. And it has no effect whatsoever except to diminish our awareness of that higher court ruling of innocence. And it's just so important that we see that control is really just a way of pulling the wool over our own eyes. That's not really controlling the world. The only thing we're ever trying to control is our own perception of ourselves as a self-concept operating in the world. And so it's a double-blind game, and it's safe to stop playing it and just ask for help to see the whole thing differently. Yeah, that transparency is just so important, and seeing that it's control and that it doesn't give me what I want. That's really the answer, that it's really control. It's not benevolent in any way. It's not some kind of a spiritual shedding or releasing and relinquishing. It really is grasping desperately for control to stay alive as this self-concept. And if you can even see that then with love, your awareness and the clarity that comes from looking at that with the Spirit makes it easy not to continue holding on to. Relinquishment isn't even your job. Your job is really releasing the desire to hold on to what does not serve you by seeing simply that it does not serve you. And then it just dissolves by itself. Again, it's holding the clarity, holding that light out front is our function. And in that, everything dissolves because all minds are in communication. That's the simple truth. And everything is acceptable. And when you really accept that everything is acceptable, including the self that you think you are, well, it's just like a massive relief.